Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my Q&A video for January 2013. Got a lot of great questions from all of you who sent them in. Thank you all for sending them in, and I'll be glad to answer all of your questions. So I appreciate that you all sending me questions for me to answer. So let's get started. The first question comes from Kelsey Taylor. Question is, have you seen the trailer for the AVGN movie? What are your thoughts? I'm not the hugest fan of Angry Video Game Nerd. I watched some of his reviews, his rants, which I liked some of them. Like, he ranted on, I think, Predator for the NES, and a lot of other games from the NES, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Friday the 13th, I think he reviewed. I remember watching those videos years back. But there was one video that I really loved. It was him and his two friends, and they went into the basement, and they were talking about like video store memories, and that showed all the videos lined up, which I really loved that video. It was very, informative, and they're great memories of video stores. And it's called, I think, Video Memories, Cinemassacre.com, but it shows their name, like two of their names, and it's under his YouTube. It's on his YouTube account, James Nintendo Nerd, which, like I said, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that video store, that Video Memories video. It was really good. But I haven't seen the trailer for the AVGN movie, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the hugest fan of AVGN. But in my opinion, he, from what I saw, the videos that I watched, he does really good rants and reviews. Next questions come from Justin27, 1995. His first question is, what is your favorite NES game? My favorite NES game is Blades of Steel. Really fun hockey game for the system. I have a blast playing with that game. It's a fun game. His second question is, what is your favorite Castlevania game? It's got to be the first one. The first one's always the best. His third question is, what is your favorite video game system? My favorite video game system is, like, nowadays it's the Xbox 360, but back then it was the PlayStation 1. So, for nostalgic reasons. But if I had to choose one, I would pick the PS1 for nostalgic reasons. But I still love the Xbox 360. And his last question is, do you have a Wii U? If not, do you want one? No, I don't have a Wii U, and I don't want one. My cousin has it, and it's okay. But the Wii, in my opinion, like when you first buy the Wii and you play it, it's like, oh, this is fun. You're playing, around with it, and you're having fun. But as time goes on and the months go by, in my opinion, it starts to get tiring. It's like, I don't want to play the Wii no more, like that. But the only thing I use the Wii for is like Netflix. So, but yeah, so that's his questions. Thank you, Kelsey Taylor, for the question, and also Justin27, 1995 for the questions. And next questions come from Nicholas Holloway. He gave me 6 questions. 5 questions, I'm sorry. His first question is, do you have a Twitter? No, I don't have a Twitter. In my opinion, I think Twitter, is like confusing to me. So no, I don't have a Twitter. What type of music you listen to? I listen to pop, mostly pop, little R&B, dance music. I like freestyle, old school freestyle music, because freestyle, really good, music. If you live in the New York area, it's popular out here. It's popular in the New York City area. What game systems you have? I have the Xbox 360. I have the original Xbox, the Wii. I have the PlayStation 1 still. I have the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Super Nintendo. So those 6 consoles I still have. And his next question is, what reality shows you watch? I don't watch any reality shows except for, like if it was a reality game show. Like, I watched Stars Orange Stripes only because WWE Diva, former WWE Diva Eve was on it, and she won that reality show, which I was happy for. I like Eve. I miss her in the WWE. But so yeah, like Stars Orange Stripes was like the last reality show that I liked. Back then I used to like Hogan Knows Best, which was the only good reality show that I liked, which came on VH1. Also, his final question is, what TV channel you watch? Basically, I watch like like shows that have the classic stuff on, like Boomerang. Well, I have 2 favorite channels, Boomerang and T-Nick. The only reason why I like T-Nick is because of the 90s Are All That block, and they have the Amanda Show on from 12 to 2, from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock every day. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so those are the only 2 channels that I like so far. Oh wait, forgot to mention one. Also, The Hub. Really love that channel also. So yeah, so those are all the questions from Nicholas Holloway. Next questions come from MetalFan230. Will you do a collection video of your Nickelodeon stuff? Not in the coming time. Not in the the coming times. Because all my Nickelodeon stuff, all my Nickelodeon collection stuff is in I don't know if you can see it, but it's in that bin right there. If you can see me pointing up there, so you can see I have like a lot of stuff covering, a lot of stuff covering that bin, because in that bin it has like my old school VHSs. So most of my Nickelodeon stuff is in that bin, so I have to take all this stuff down, and it's gonna be, it's gonna take some time. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to find a way to take all those stuff down. Some of them are heavy. Some of them, are heavy to take down, like that bin up there, and got a lot of other shit up there in my on top of my closet. Do you have Facebook? Now, this is one that I wanted to keep hidden, but I'll admit I do have Facebook, but I only add people who I know. I don't add people from on YouTube, because I'm gonna be getting some messages or comments saying, "Oh, can you review this movie?" And all like that stuff. So I only add people who I know, like old school friends from high school, and most people that I know in my neighborhood. So those are the only people who I will add on Facebook. But yeah, so those questions came from MetalFan230. Thank you for the question. Sorry about that. But thank you, MetalFan230, for your questions. Next question comes from the Mastermind. His question is, favorite movie of all time? I have a lot of movies that I saw which I consider my favorite of all time. But if I had to choose one, it would be Back to the Future. Classic movie that I really love. Seen it, hundreds and hundreds of times. I also really like the sequel, Part 2. Third one, not so much. But that, in my opinion. But so I would say Back to the Future. But that was his question. Next questions come from Will Farrell, number 1. His first question is, do you like how Raw has two-faced commentators? Yeah, I do. Thank God they got rid of Michael Cole's fucking heel, persona. It's so fucking annoying. Couldn't stand it. And, it's giving me respect that, that the writers turned him face again after Jerry Lawler suffered the heart attack. But yes, I have a little respect for Michael Cole's character now. How he held, when Jerry Lawler had that heart attack on Raw, how he handled it by himself. No, his second question is, do you like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother? I don't watch How I Met Your Mother. I don't watch that show. His third question is, do you watch the JBL and Cole show? I haven't got to check it out yet, but we'll check it out. I heard it's it's a good little WWE internet show, so I'll check it out eventually. So those 3 questions came from Will Farrell, number 1. Next questions come from Sam Hain 4000. He has 6 questions. And his first question is, have you seen Frankenweenie? If so, do you like it? I haven't seen the new Frankenweenie movie. I love the original short film from 1984 with Daniel Stern and Shelley Duvall, playing the parents of the character Victor Frankenstein. And the character who played Victor Frankenstein in the original 1984 short film is the one from the Neverending Story. Never seen the Neverending Story, but I did see the trailer for it. So that's why I know. The guy who played Victor Frankenstein in the original Frankenweenie. I know him from there after seeing the trailer to Neverending Story. But I want to check out the new Frankenweenie full-length movie. Heard a lot of good things about it, so I will check it out sometime. And you could watch the original 1984 short on the it's available on Nightmare Before Christmas DVD and Blu-ray, along with Tim Burton's other short little film called Vincent. So, as the second question is, what is your favorite episode of Dennis the Menace? That's a hard one. I liked a lot of episodes. One that I really liked was where Dennis wanted a bike, and Margaret already had one before Dennis even got one. I really liked that one, and the one where they're selling root beer. I really like that one. So yeah, so those are the only 2 I could think of for now, because I liked a lot of other Dennis the Menace episodes. What is your favorite episode of Three's Company? Well, never. I haven't watched Three's Company in a long time, but I remember the episode later on. Sorry about that, but favorite Three's Company episode have to be the one where, cause I haven't watched Three's Company in a long time, but I remember an episode where John Ritter, who plays Jack in Jack Tripper in Three's Company, it was with this other character later on named, I think it was Terry, and she was like this nurse, and then she gave John Ritter's character a shot, and he was like, "Ah, mommy!" So that was really funny. It was if I remember, it was a two-parter episode where John Ritter's character like cut his finger. But yeah, so that's the only episode that I still remember seeing. This question is, what are your thoughts on Arnold Schwarzenegger being in Terminator 5? I think it's pretty good. I haven't seen The Last Stand yet, but I've heard mixed things about it, and it's bombing at the box office now, from what I saw. But yeah, well, it's good to see. It'll probably be good to see Arnold come back for Terminator 5. After he did Terminator 3, and I think it could be better than Terminator Salvation. I haven't seen Terminator Salvation since the theater, and I remember liking it, but we'll have to give Terminator Salvation a watch again someday. Give it a rewatch. But yeah, I'm in for Arnold being in Terminator 5. Other question is, who is your favorite member of the Avengers? It's gotta be Iron Man. I love Iron Man. It's one of my favorite Marvel, like pretty much my all-time favorite Marvel character. But I do love Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man, among others. The Hulk, like the main ones everyone knows. His final question is, what is your favorite movie score soundtrack? It's definitely got to be Back to the Future. Really love the score that they used in Back to the Future, and that they used in the movie, and also the Huey Lewis and the News songs. The Power of Love and Back in Time. So those questions came from Sam Hain 4000. Thank you for the questions. Next questions come from Donovan Berry. His questions are, what are your favorite comic strips? Not like in the daily news nowadays. I read Zits, and forgot the other one that I read. Also, I like Dilbert, those comic strips. And back then, I used to really love the Charlie Brown Peanuts comic strips that the Daily News used to, New York Daily News, they used to put, in the papers. Like it would be old, but they would still like print them for people to read. After Charles Schultz died, they were still in the paper. Those Peanuts comic strips, I remember. Do you have a Super Bowl prediction? I don't care for this year's Super Bowl. Just only gonna watch the commercials and root for I'm gonna root for the 49ers. Even though my Giants were close to making the playoffs. And yeah, so I'm just gonna root for the 49ers, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. But I'll just root for the 49ers. When was the first time you saw Jurassic Park? The first time I saw Jurassic Park, I was over at my aunt and uncle's house, and I was going through my uncle's Laserdisc collection, And I know a lot of you know laser discs with those big like discs that look like almost like like vinyls, but is shaped like a CD. But so I was looking through his Laserdisc collection. And I saw Jurassic Park, and I was like, it's a cool logo. Saw the back, cool pictures from the movie, and he decided to put it on for me and let me watch the whole movie. And after I saw the movie out, I was like amazed at what I saw. Like the CG dinosaurs looked outstanding. I remember I loved the T-Rex in the movie. I love the scene where the T-Rex is, like tipping over the van with the kids inside. Just really loved that. Just really loved the scene with the T-Rex. And I remember the one scene that always used to scare the one dinosaur that always used to scare the hell out of me was the Dilophosaurus with the where the things would come out, like the skin would come out and all like that. And it was with Newman's character, Wayne Knight. I just call him Newman, because he was on Seinfeld. But yeah, that scene always used to scare the hell out of me, and that dinosaur also used to scare the hell out of me. Like I used when that scene used to come up, like every time I would rewatch the movie, I would like cover my eyes and hide behind the couch waiting for that scene to be over. But nowadays, when I rewatch it, doesn't really bother me no more. So I really love Jurassic Park. It's classic. I can't wait for it to come back in 3D, which is going to be released in April. Also, I like The Lost World Jurassic Park. It's a good movie in my opinion, although not as good as the first movie, but better than Jurassic Park 3. I mean, Jurassic Park 3 I liked, but it's the weakest of the Jurassic Park trilogy, in my opinion. And then Jurassic Park 4 is coming out soon, I think next year, which I'm really looking forward to. And I hope it takes place on the original island from the first Jurassic Park movie. What's your favorite Disney animated film? If I had to pick one, if I had to pick, like, you know what? I'm gonna pick a trilogy. I'm gonna say the Toy Story trilogy. It's Disney and Pixar. So yeah, the Toy Story trilogy are my favorite Disney animated films. Computer animated films. What's your favorite Disney live action film? Got a lot of Disney live action films that I like. I can name three. I can name four. Better yet, four. The underrated movies: Meet the Deedles with Paul Walker, which is a forgotten Disney movie. Rocket Man with Harlan Williams. George of the Jungle, the first one. Fuck the second movie. And Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick. And fuck the sequel also. Those are four films that I like. Those are the four live action Disney films I like. What's your favorite era of professional wrestling? It's always going to be the classic Attitude Era. That era was just a classic time in the WWE. Hopefully, hopefully it comes back, but not holding my breath. What are your thoughts on rumors that the Nickelodeon studios in Orlando may be reopening? I haven't heard this news, but if they do reopen it, I have a feeling it's not going to be, as good as when the original, when the original studio was there. It's not going to have the same. It's not going to be as good as when it was very, very popular back in the 90s, and it's just going to be hard because I know they shoot the TV show is out on Nickelodeon on Sunset in California. So, it's probably not going to make any sense because they have their own studio in California, and then they got to probably do shows, coming back out to Orlando. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it, though. What are your favorite movie soundtracks? Back to the Future is one of my favorite movie soundtracks. So that's all I could think of now. Your favorite episodes of Boy Meets World from each season? Oh boy, this is gonna be long. So I don't know if anybody's gonna sit through this, but so my favorite Boy Meets World episodes from season 1 is an episode called Corey's Alternative Friends. That's the episode where Corey overhears these two girls in the lunchroom, and one of the girls, played by Marla Sokoloff, I think her name is, or Marla Sokoloff. Corey thinks those two girls are talking about him because Marla Sokoloff called someone a Brillo head, and Corey thinks that those two girls were talking about him, and so Corey changes his hairstyle, and it becomes a big mess. And that's my favorite episode of season 1. The funniest episode of season 1, in my opinion. Another episode from season 1 called Teacher's Bet, where Corey and Mr. Feeney switch jobs for the week. Corey ends up being Mr. Feeney, like the teacher, and Mr. Feeney ends up being the student, Corey, and the class gets out of control. Also another episode called Santa's Little Helper. This is where where Corey finds out that Sean's father lost his job, and by making it up, he gives Sean his NBA basketball, and it ends up in a fight. Just really love that Christmas episode. Another one called Risky Business, where Corey and Sean are bet on this horse race, and they win all this money. Another one called It's a Wonderful Night, where supposedly a babysitter has to watch Corey and Morgan, his sister, and the babysitter ends up canceling, and so Mr. Feeney has to watch Morgan, and Corey and Sean is over there watching this R-rated movie, and at the end Corey gets in trouble. And also in this episode, Eric fails his driving test, and he doesn't have a license, and so he tricks his parents and tells them that he got his license, but he borrows his father's car and it gets towed away, and he can't get it back without a license. And the last episode that I like from season 1 is called I Dream of Feeney. This is where Corey wishes that Mr. Feeney would get sick so he won't have to take a geography test, and Mr. Feeney actually does get sick, and Corey ends up seeing these images of Mr. Feeney of he dreams of Mr. Feeney dying in the hospital, and you see all these all of Mr. Feeney in the kitchen where Corey dreams of it, and Corey actually goes sees Feeney in the hospital. So those are all the episodes I like from season 1. Season 2 is called an episode called Notorious, where Corey and Sean sneak into the newspaper, because this season they were in high school. This was their first season in high school, and the high school has a newspaper, and Sean ends up changing Feeney's last name to Weenie, and they think that Corey did it. And also another episode called Me and Mr. Joe, where Corey and Sean end up going on strike from taking Mr. Turner's test on Grapes of Wrath. Also, another episode called Who's Afraid of Cory Wolf, where Cory thinks he's a werewolf. Wake Up Little Cory, which is the episode where Cory and Topanga are working on this video study, and they end up sleeping together in the room. And so the janitor and Mr. Feeney find them in there sleeping, and it becomes the whole talk of the whole school. Also, the final episode I like in season 2 is called Danger Boy. It was where Cory and Feeney ride on this wild new roller coaster. And like when they come out, when the ride's over, their faces, the looks on their faces are priceless and classic. Especially Cory's face was classic. Season 3, I only have 3 episodes that I like. One is the Pink Flamingo Kid, where Cory ends up videoing, I think, the Hunter family, and Sean has a half-brother. This was before we met Sean's half-brother, Jack, played by Matthew Lawrence. And his half-brother here was stealing, like, these parts. And the second episode I like was called I Was a Teenage Spy, which is where Cory ends up going back in time to the 50s, and it's kind of like a Happy Days episode. Like you have the late great Pat Morita in there. You have late great Tom Bosley, who played Howard Cunningham on Happy Days, and also Anson Williams makes an appearance in this episode also. And the last episode that I like from season 3 is called The Happiest Show on Earth. This was where they went to Disney World. Supposedly Topanga won, like a contest, and she won a trip to Disney World along with other students. And so Cory and Sean end up following her to Disney World. And season 4 have 1, 2, 3, like 7 episodes. Yeah, 7 episodes. One from season 4 is called Hair Today, Goon Tomorrow, where Topanga cuts most of her hair off. Another episode called Fishing for Verna was when, if you remember at the end of season 2, like almost at the end of season 2, Sean's mother left him and his father, Chet, and basically Cory, in this episode, Cory ends up going to see Sean's mother and, trying to get her to go back home with, to Sean and her husband, Chet, played by Blake Clark. And another one called Janitor Dad was where Sean's father, Chet, ends up getting a job as a janitor in Cory and Sean's school. But Sean doesn't really like it. Another one called 16 Candles and 400 Pound Men was where Cory and Sean end up helping Frankie's father be close to him. And Frankie's father is played by Vader, the WWE legendary wrestler Vader, which is cool to see. And what I like, this episode actually takes place at WWF. When it in a WWE event, which years back used to be WWF, and I guess it was a house show or it was made for the episode, which I really like that. Another one called B&B's B&B, which is where Cory and Sean turned Mr. Feeney's house into a bed and breakfast. Chick Like Me was where this episode where Cory and Sean end up becoming a woman and writing this article for the newspaper. And also another one, the last one I like from season 4 is called Cult Fiction, where Sean ends up going into this cult, and the cult leader is the guy who played Styles in the original classic Teen Wolf from 1985 with Michael J. Fox. And that's the final episode where Mr. Turner appeared, because in this episode He got in a motorcycle accident. And so those are all the episodes I like from season 4. Season 5, this was the final season where they were in high school, and this was the season where they graduated. Season 5 is an episode called Brothers, where Sean meets his half brother, Jack, played by Matthew Lawrence. An episode called The Eskimo, where Corey and Sean end up having to get Super Bowl tickets for Mr. Feeney, and Sean waits on this billboard in the freezing cold. And another episode called And Then There Was Sean. This was supposedly like a Halloween episode, like in the style of Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like that, but it aired in February, but this would have been a good, time for it to air in October. But it was kind of weird how they didn't air it, during the Halloween season, when the episode originally aired. So those are the only 3 episodes I like from season 5. Season 6, I only have 1 episode that I like. Season 6 was when they entered college. And the only episode I like from season 6 is called Everybody Loves Stuart, where Ben Savage's real brother, Fred Savage, he plays this teacher named Stuart, and he hits on Topanga, and so Corey, doesn't like that, and so he pushes Stuart through the glass, and then Stuart kicks Corey out of college, and so it all ends up in this sort of trial. But yeah, so that's the only episode I like from season 6. Then from the final season, season 7, this is where Corey and Topanga get married. And from the final season, season 7, I have 3 episodes. One episode is called The Honeymooners, where Corey and Topanga get married. The honeymoon is over, which is part 2 of the first part, which is called The Honeymooners. And basically, Corey and Topanga go on their honeymoon at this hotel, and Eric ends up, screwing it all up. They weren't like the Matthews. There was some other kind of honeymooners. Then also the last episode I like is the final episode called Brave New World, which is where they move on. Really, really great finale episode of the series. It was a great series finale to end the series. It was absolutely amazing, and I remember watching it when it first aired, and it was just one of my favorite shows that I grew up with. Was coming to an end, and it was just a really powerful series finale. If TV shows were to do a series finale, that is, if you watch the final episode of Boy Meets World, that is how you do a series finale. That's the way TV series finales should be, like that. Sitcoms like that. So that was a long, list of episodes. I hope everybody's still watching. But so those are all the episodes, and those questions came from Donovan Berry. Thank you very much for your questions. The next questions come from The Office Fan 234, Jason Smith, really good YouTuber here on YouTube. And his questions are: what shows are you most excited to see on Nick Rewind releases by Shout Factory? From what I heard, I read the Shout Factory boards. I don't have an account on there, but I just read the boards and seeing which new releases they're planning on. And it looks like not a lot of stuff is gonna, not a lot of Nick Rewind stuff is gonna still be coming out from Shout Factory. I mean, they only have license to like Hey Dude, Hey Arnold, Wild Thornberrys, Our Real Monsters, and Rocko's Modern Life. But hopefully, sometime in the future, they could get more classic Nick releases done. If they could get the rights, the DVD rights to use them. What do you think of Donald Fashion? Wait, do you mean Donald Faison or something? But he says, do you think of Donald Fashion and Jim Carrey being in the new Kick-Ass? I think it's gonna be cool. I'm really anticipating to see Kick-Ass 2. Only because Jim Carrey's in it, and I enjoyed the first movie. We'll have to rewatch the first movie before the sequel, before Kick-Ass 2 comes out. What is your favorite cartoon? My favorite cartoon is always going to be the Rugrats. That's like my number one favorite cartoon of all time that I grew up watching. What do you think of the movie Paranorman? I haven't seen the movie yet, but I will check it out at some point. My sister has the DVD of it, so at some point I'll eventually watch it. I heard a lot of good things about it. And lastly, are you excited for the Evil Dead remake coming out in April? I haven't seen the original Evil Dead or the sequel, but I don't know what to think of the remake. I have to watch the original movie and the sequel, and then watch this remake to see, which do I like, the remake or the original movie. So yeah, but those come from the Office Fan 234, aka Jason Smith. Thank you for your questions. David, the next questions come from David9788. His first question is, what are some movies do you look forward to seeing this year? I'm looking forward to Iron Man 3, Man of Steel, World War Z, Warm Bodies, which comes out next weekend. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see A Haunted House and Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, which I know Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters came out yesterday. But I don't know if I'll see those two movies, but I don't know. It's seeing these movies, it's a matter of time and a matter of money. So, but if you want to see more of the films that I'm looking forward to this year, you could check out my video, my most anticipated films of 2013 video, so other movies that I'm anticipating to see this year. Second question is, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Favorite Christmas movie is this movie right here. Everyone, A Christmas Story. It's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Everyone who watches my videos know that A Christmas Story is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. What is your favorite? Who is your favorite character? Who is your favorite character from Boy Meets World? My favorite character from Boy Meets World is I have two. Or I could put more. My favorite characters are Corey, Mr. Feeney, and Sean and Eric, and also Topanga. I didn't want to leave the character out. So basically, I like those characters. His last question is, what is your favorite wrestling game? My favorite wrestling game is WWE 13 so far. Really, really good game. Get to play in the Attitude Era and have classic wrestlers. So yeah. So thank you for your questions, David9788. And the final question comes from Benny25161. Question is, what is your favorite Nickelodeon cartoon and live action show? My favorite Nickelodeon cartoon, like I said, is the Rugrats. It's my number one favorite cartoon, my number one favorite Nicktoon of all time. So yeah, so it's a cartoon I grew up watching, and I was huge. And I was a huge fan of the Rugrats. But inside me, I still am a little. I still am a fan of the Rugrats today. It still is a good cartoon. It still holds up. Favorite live action show? Favorite Nickelodeon live action show? It's gonna be Kenan and Kel. Kenan and Kel had great chemistry together. They were both hilarious, and I enjoy watching Kenan on Saturday Night Live. I think he's really funny on Saturday Night Live also. Would like to see Kenan and Kel come back and do something together. It's been years. I mean, the last thing that they were in was the I think it was the All That 10th Anniversary special. And that was back in 2005. And that was the last time that we saw them both together. You know, acting wise, in that special. But I really do hope they come back and do something. Come back and do something together. And so thank you for your question, Benny 25161. And so that's it for my Q&A video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, thank you all for sending your questions in to me. And thank you all for watching. Sorry about that. People opening and closing the door. So I was saying thank you all for watching. And till the next video, I'll see you all later.